Welcome everyone to another edition of Beer for Breakfast ABV, and we are coming to you today from New English Brewing Company in Sorrento Valley, and to my right is Simon Lacey, the owner and jack of all trades. It is great to have you here, Simon. And
thanks for being here.
Thanks for welcoming us into your brand new location.
Yeah,
this is
problem.
Awesome.
Yeah, this is the barrel room.
What's it called? The barrel room?
The barrel room, yeah.
Awesome. There's barrels across the room over here. This is a really great space you guys have.
Thank you.
This bar is outstanding.
Oh my goodness, yeah. And as Danielle noted earlier, it's shorter than some other bars.
I love this.
Not like an aircraft carrier deck or anything like that.
Go Gadget Arm.
Paul Segura is here from the Carl Strauss Brewing Company once again, and we're going to try 3 of your beers. And I just got to ask, you just had your 10th anniversary.
That's right, in July, yeah. So we've been
How
around
was
a while. It was awesome. We had a ton of events around town at different bars and restaurants, and we brewed a collaboration beer that we're going to try a bit later on.
Okay.
I'll tell you about that. But yeah, it was a great month-long celebration of some stuff from the archive and some new stuff, and lots of friends and lots of good times. So
nice.
Congratulations on 10 years. It's not easy,
yeah,
especially in a town like San Diego.
Yeah,
we made it, so now we'll look forward to the next 10. We'll see.
It's a tribute to the beers that you're making.
Thank you.
Yeah, and the first beer we're going to try is the Blueberry Blonde. Now, I gather this came about from
breast cancer awareness.
Breast cancer,
yeah, last year, yeah. So we wanted to brew a beer. I mean, we do something every year, obviously, like most of the breweries do, try and support that cause. We all obviously have wives and girlfriends, so it's near and dear to our heart. And so we had an American-style blonde ale, which had been a summer seasonal. Mm-hmm. We thought it would be a great base to work off for a fruited beer. And so we pulled out some of the hops and reduced the IBUs a little bit, and then added some artisanal blueberry preserve. And the resulting beer is Blueberry Blonde, which, as you can see, is very pink.
Yeah, it's
absolutely
a beautiful looking beer. Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So you lightened the base beer to get the blueberries to stand out a little bit more.
Yeah, we didn't want it to be. It was an American blonde, so it was a little hoppy. We wanted to basically, we found a kind of a happy medium where the blueberry tartness and the hop bitterness played quite well together. So it tastes kind of to me like a Berliner Weiss, a little tiny bit, but it's not sour. It's just tart.
No, it's really friendly. This is a good beer.
You know, looking at the color, it would be easy to perhaps think ahead of time that it's going to be just over the top on the blueberry.
Sweet. Yeah.
But it actually, despite the color, it tastes like a beer first, and then you get the blueberry, the fruitiness, and the tartness in the finish.
We have tons of real fans of this beer. I mean, here at the tasting room, and then around town too, it's been selling really well. So I was really happy we just kept on making it. So.
And this is why we don't drink with our eyes, right, Danielle?
See? No, well, and to be honest with you, I mean, if I just looked at this beer, I'd be like, this isn't a beer that I would like. Like, just because I'm such a hophead, but it's a really good beer. And guess what, Paul? This is a beer I can actually taste the blueberry in.
Awesome.
We've got this running joke that we'll chase beers and Paul will be like, do you taste the blueberry? And I'm like, no.
In the Mosaic hop, I get blueberry. Many people do. I'm one of those. And we're going to taste the Mosaic beer here in a minute.
Yeah.
But this is a wonderful beer.
Thank you.
And I really hope people don't dismiss this after looking at it, because it's a beer first with blueberries in the finish.
And not to like generalize, but I would say like if you've got like a wife or a girlfriend who maybe isn't a big beer fan, this would be a really good beer to come and have her try. You were saying that your wife is all about the beers that have this kind of fruit. So like, do you think that she would be into this beer?
She would try it. Mm-hmm. She would try it, but she's tough to please.
I bet you guys make a lot of converts to craft beer with beers like this.
I hope so. I mean, that's kind of part of the reason for having a tasting room, right? Is for people to come in and try everything that we make and learn a bit about us, but also to try to move people away from, macro beers and into something a bit more flavorful. So that's kind of part of the mission.
Now, you've been around now for 10 years, but this is a new facility that you have here.
Well, we've been in this building since 2011.
Okay.
But we took this suite here, that we call the barrel room now. Mm-hmm. We took it over in early 2016, mm-hmm. and then we spent a lot of time renovating the space and then building it out to what you see now. So.
Yeah, this is a great room.
We use it for events, parties, weddings, corporate functions, fundraisers, and then when we're really busy in the tasting room, we'll move over here. give you.
Did you have a barrel-aged beer from those barrels for your 10th anniversary?
We rolled out. We have a whole archive of different barrel-aged beers that were in process. We didn't think far enough ahead to do a barrel-aged 10-year anniversary barrel-aged beer. So,
Right.
we're a small company, so we do the best we can.
Yeah.
And but we had a bunch of different barrel-aged beers, and we have an event every Beer Week. The last Saturday of Beer Week is our barrel-aged tap takeover. So last year, I think we had 12 or 14 different barrel-aged beers on tap. So we basically take over the whole tower with barrel-aged beers, vertical tastings from our archive of barrel-aged Zumbar, barrel-aged Brown. We've got a barrel-aged barley wine. We've got some of our red ale barrel-aged, and then some specialty stuff, some blends, Grand Cru that we've done. So so we'll do that again this time around on the last Saturday of Beer Week, whatever day that is.
Beer Week's around the corner. Make plans to be here.
So that's always a crowd pleaser.
Now, speaking of that, we're going to try the Hop Slapped Pale Ale.
Yeah, sure.
And I think I've got an idea as to what kind of a pale ale this is, but I'll let you explain that, Simon.
Well, essentially, it's we get a lot of people that don't understand the difference between hoppiness and bitterness. And so what we thought we'd do was brew a base pale ale. It's about 40 IBUs. It's 5.5% ABV, so you can drink a bit of it, and it doesn't kill you. And then every time we brew it, we change the aroma and flavor hop profile. So this one is number 4, and it's all mosaic dry hops.
So it's part of a series.
It's part of a series, yeah.
Okay.
So you can. I think the first one we did had Amarillo and Citra dry hops. The second one we did was Simcoe and a bit of mosaic, and this one's all mosaic. So the idea is we're trying to get people to understand. Okay, well, I first of all, I could tell the difference between all this hop flavor and aroma, but it's not super bitter. Yeah. So there is a difference between hoppiness and bitterness.
Absolutely.
And then if they stick with it and they try the different versions, and sometimes we'll have more than one version on tap at the same time, so you can try a couple of different ones, and you're not confused by the base beer because it's the same, and then you can try to understand the difference in the hop profile. So.
Smells great. It smells fantastic. Cheers.
Absolutely does. Smells like fresh hops.
Cheers.
Yeah, and for about 5.5% ABV, this is a little bit over 2 pounds per barrel of dry hops. So.
Oh, that's really good.
I just want to smell it for a while.
I just want to bathe in it.
Oh man, that hits the
Use it as
spot.
I'm not sure if it's because it's right after the blueberry blonde, but I get the blueberries from that mosaic.
I do
still
as well.
don't get them. I still don't get them.
Well, everybody's got a different threshold for that flavor.
So is this kind of similar to what happens over, like if you go to White Labs and they've got different beers that are made with different stuff, but it's the same base? Is it kind of similar?
I think they're taking it to a whole different level,
Okay.
right? I mean, they're obviously focusing on the yeast as the differentiator. I guess it's the same idea. We're only controlling the hops, and then we only have one beer that we do that with, rather than their entire lineup. So.
But I think the idea is really cool because
Yeah.
then you really get to see what the difference is when you just change like one component of it. If you put in something different in. So I think it's a really cool
So
thing.
what they'll do is they'll brew one batch of beer and then split it to 3 fermenters so that you can taste the difference the yeast makes in the same base beer. What he's doing is he's brewing the same base beer over and over, but using different hop varieties.
Okay. I
So
like
people who
that.
might remember the last one, the Citra Amarillo, and then come taste this one, it gives them a really good perspective on how this particular variety smells and tastes, and if they're familiar with the base beer.
This is really refreshing. This is just right in the wheelhouse.
Great, thank you.
This is very crushable, I'd
Heck
say.
yeah, it is.
5.5%, definitely in a friendly area.
Gluggable, it's in the wheelhouse. You can drink several of these and still have whatever mental faculties you had.
There may have not been a lot there to start with,
There
but
may
it's
not
okay.
have been, right, that's why I,
It's beer for breakfast ABV.
Yeah,
That's why we, always say drink responsibly and sensibly and slowly.
that is so good.
Thank you.
And you're right, it is extremely hop forward and flavorful, not so bitter,
Right.
so it doesn't give you that puckering,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
doesn't hit the sides of your tongues, but you taste all the wonderful hoppiness in there.
Oh yeah.
It's really good.
Well, we've always been about trying to brew balanced beers rather than anything too extreme. So we've slid off that mantra a little bit here and there, but we try to make sure that we're always in that balanced kind of.
In addition to the balance, it looks like you also carry at least one beer for every different type of beer drinker out there. Whoever walks through your door is going to find something.
Yeah,
on
we don't
tap
just
room.
focus on sour beers or IPAs or extreme experimental beers. We try to brew a range of English and American styles. It's our main focus.
Proof's in the pudding.
Yeah, and as you head into year number 11, what are you going to be looking at for New English moving forward?
Oh, that's a good question. Just trying to keep on evolving, keep on. We've got to come up with the next in the Hop Slap series. We need to come up with a winter seasonal. So it's a constant, it's constant trying to be more innovative, but be true to our theme each time. And just there's always some new challenge to be overcome every year. So hopefully we're just on the, like you said, we're on the downhill slide to Beer Week here. So right now that's kind of what we're focused on, getting to Beer Week, and then we can all have a bit of a relax and then get into 2018.
Yeah.
In this effort to sort of constantly be reinventing yourself, do you find it challenging to maybe man, I've got to discontinue something to make way for something new?
Yeah, actually, we've without naming names, we've done that a little bit this year. 2 of our beers were reformulated. Hop Slapped is actually the result of one of those reformulations. So we let go of one of our beloved original core beers, and
Did you piss off some people
We
in the
did.
process?
but it allowed us to try something new, and I think it's better to try something new and get out there with that than to be totally stuck in your ways.
Yeah,
It would be great if we could be Guinness and just make one beer for 350 years, but eventually even that runs out of steam, right? So
Yeah.
Well, and the formulas from your classic beers, they're in the vault. They're not going anywhere, so you can always get those back out again. Now, how new is the Laxahazical IPA that we're going to try next?
So this was a beer we brewed for our 10th anniversary. So and it was a collaboration beer. We made it with Lee Chase from Automatic Brewing, Blind Lady Ale House, etc. So Lee was kind enough to come and help us with the haze craze and help us to understand the chemistry a little bit of what was going on in the beer. And wasn't my original favorite idea to do a hazy IPA, but in terms of changing our culture a little bit and pushing, like I mentioned earlier, getting kind of slightly off of our our core constituency, we decided to give the New England style a go, and this is the result.
How's the response been?
It's been great. Yeah, people really love hazy beers at the moment, and I mean to some degree, we spend our lives as brewers trying to make beer that looks like this.
Right.
And then, we got beers that look like that.
This is counter to what we've been doing for 20 years.
It is. But surprisingly, I'm a big fan of this beer myself. So it has Nelson Sauvin and Eldorado hops in it. So
Well, the Laxahazical is 6.2% ABV, and that's going to be
6.5, I think.
Oh, 6.5.
Oh, is it 6.2? Oh, 6.2, you're right.
Well, it's going to be the strongest beer that we tried today. So cheers. Simon. Cheers. Cheers.
You've got the haziness down. There's definitely a veil there that looks like it could be more protein, perhaps, than, or maybe wheat or something in there.
It's not
other
wheat.
than-
It is protein though. We used in a 40-barrel batch. We did like 350 pounds of flake barley. So
Okay, yeah, that'll do it.
definitely got us. And we skipped all of our finings in the kettle
Yeah.
and in the fermenter. We did use Clarity Firm, which we use in all of our beers. So that probably should have broken down any of the chill haze part, but it's been very stable. It hasn't settled out at all. So we have seen this haze persisting, and it's so you don't end up with a ring on the bottom of the glass.
Right.
So is that something that happens frequently? Is that it starts to settle, like some of the other hazy IPAs, it
Oh, no,
settles
no.
and you see
I
it
mean,
on the bottom?
If you design it right, if you do the chemistry right, then the haze doesn't settle.
So a lot of guys are just going for as much yeast as they could get in suspension and not thinking so much about the protein as you have here. And so there are opportunities where, or instances when the beer is almost entirely clear, and the yeast is all settled out in the keg or whatever. But if you do it right, like he said, and you get, Lee Chase, a guy who's extremely smart, then you end up with this no matter how,
Well,
much
Lee
the yeast
worked
is
hard with
settled.
our head brewer, Matt McGee, and they put their head together, and Matt's a bit more on the science nerdy side than I am, so he they were able to understand the dry hopping profile and temperatures and all that stuff to make sure that we got the
hot
protein
polyphenols
to exactly.
in there as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're up with that. So
We get nerdy on this show once in a while.
Okay.
It's okay.
Very good. Very good. I don't want to bore the.
You've got the orangey part down
Definitely.
as well in this beer.
Yeah,
Super orangey.
Super orangey. Super a little grapefruity I get, but
Yeah.
So what do you enjoy the most about this job, Simon, other than just getting to be your own boss?
You mean other than drinking beer?
And that drinking beer part too, yeah.
I mean, oops, 8 o'clock in the morning. What time is it?
Hold on a second.
Yeah, I think just the community. I mean, just being in the beer business, it's challenging. I mean, there's been so many changes over the last few years, and it's tough to see some of those changes happen. But overall, yeah, being my own boss, we have a great community here. I mean, I really love our regulars that come in and drink with us, and I work the bar a couple of nights a week, so I can talk to people, and I'm a people person, so I guess the beer business is a good fit.
Nice. Well,
Absolutely.
we're going to
We
feature
always
some of
say
these.
that. I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead, Paul.
I always say the beer is the lubricant of social intercourse, if you will. So people who wouldn't come together and talk normally often do over a pint.
I would assume this is like the spot to be, like as everyone's starting to get off work around here.
Exactly.
Especially because you've got that parking lot of the 805 right there.
Yep.
So it's like
Yep.
I'm gonna like wait out traffic. I'm gonna go have myself a beer.
We're definitely a big after-work spot down here in the valley, and
I believe it. You got a lot of, I would almost say, a captive audience in this part
and there's
of town.
plenty of parking too. I mean, there's 320 parking spots outside, so there's no shortage of that. So yeah, we have a good crowd, and
Is it open every day?
we're open every day except Sunday. Okay. I give myself one day off a week,
As you should.
but never say never. You never know. We might open on Sundays. We're thinking about updating our hours. So
Well, the website is newenglandbrewing.com.
New English.
Oh, sorry, New English. Newenglishbrewing.com.
Drinking a New England IPA.
Like it says here on the glass, newenglishbrewing.com, and the address is 11545 Sereno Valley Road, Suite 305, and as Simon mentioned, about 120 spaces of parking plus street parking too.
Yes.
Do you guys have like food trucks and stuff? And
Oh, well,
pop-ups?
that's a long, sad story. We used to, before the Department of Health closed them all the food pop-up people down. So
You guys had Red or Green Cuisine. They were amazing.
Yes, they were. So,
And they
so we're working
distribute
on it.
beer.
We're working on it. Yeah,
You can find these in grocery stores?
Yep, Vons, Bevmos,
Ralph's?
not
whatever.
Ralph's. No, Ralph's don't carry us. They don't seem to have a big selection of local craft. But a lot of independent, the high-quality independent liquor stores, we tend to focus on those guys. So.
Well, Paul and Danielle, you guys are going to feature some more of these beers with Garrett on the radio edition of Beer for Breakfast. Yep. But again, the website, it's newenglishbrewing.com. Again, that address is 11545 Sereno Valley Road, Suite 305. Simon Lacey, thanks once again for having us here.
Cheers.
Inviting us
Thank you.
in, letting us try some of your beers. Really enjoyed all of these. And very, very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah. Find out more about Beer for Breakfast ABV and the radio edition of Beer for Breakfast at 91x.com, because we know when you get to work, you're not really doing anything important. So spend some time with Beer for Breakfast, and make sure you check out Friday mornings at 8:45, the radio edition of Beer for Breakfast, and new editions of Beer for Breakfast ABV when we roll them out Tuesday evenings on Facebook. Beer for Breakfast 91X, thanks for spending some time with us. Cheers.